Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, podcast, whatever. Welcome back to my show. It's not even my show because, to be honest, I'm talking about what I feel like God wants the youth, the Christians of this world, of this time, of this moment, of this beautiful life to know, and things that I'm being convicted of. But how is everyone doing? How has everyone been? I know that I've been gone for a minute, and there's a reason for that. I was sick. I thought I was dying. Guys, I had a fever for the first time in my life that I could remember. And a fever is literally death on earth. I'm talking about the chills, the temperature changes, the throwing up, everything. And then to make it worse, this fever was triggered by my tonsils that were like inflamed or something, so I couldn't eat. I was having trouble speaking because like my throat, everything that has to do with your throat was just like not working for me. So regardless, they tried to take me out, but I'm still here. Praise the Lord. All right, let's jump right into the conversation because today I'm actually excited about today's topic. Today's topic is modesty. Can Christians be sexy? What can Christians wear? What can Christians not wear? And I've noticed that when it comes to these kind of conversations, it's really centered around women. What can women wear? What can women not wear? Can Christian women be sexy? And all of that and all of the above. Y'all know the questions. Y'all know how it be. So let's hop right into it. I feel like the problem it comes with self-expression. A lot of the times we feel like we need to express ourselves in the way that is necessary, and then once we do, we feel like it goes against God's word, and we don't really know the limit, or at least let me speak for myself, I didn't really know the limit between like, this is cute and you might send somebody to hell right now. And I know that sounds like a gas, but like that's what I started realizing. Like, you might tempt somebody and you might harm somebody else because of something you do or say or wear or the way you act. But that's getting deep into the conversation, and I know that's like a really high level. Many people will say, how can what I wear, why does what I wear have to impact somebody else? Or, you know, y'all know the type of questions that come with that whole conversation. Hopefully we can get a little bit of insight on it today, right? So first things first, I did a little bit of research, both word definition and in the Bible. And so, first of all, based on the Bible, what is modesty? And I feel like there's really two key verses that will help us understand what modesty is, and that is 1 Timothy 2:9 and 1 Peter 3 verse 3. So let's get into 1 Timothy 2:9. It says, I also want the women to dress modestly, with decency and propriety, adorning themselves not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothing, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. So here he is describing how he wants the woman to dress. He says modestly, with decency, and not just wearing beautiful earrings and necklaces and all of these extra things like my glasses that I got on top of my head today, right? He's saying here, forget the extra. Your heart right now is not in the right place. Like, you need to focus not on how you look, but how you are. Who are you? How do you worship God with yourself, with your body, with the temple that God has given you, right? And then there's Peter, who adds on to this conversation, who says, whose adorning, let it not be outward adorning of plaiting the hair and wearing of gold or putting on of apparel. So here he's kind of like saying the same thing. The adorning that we should be doing should not be of the outside. We should really be focusing on our hearts. Now, when I first read these verses, I was a little bit taken aback because I was like, wait, I can't wear the jewelry, I can't wear the necklace, I can't wear, I can't look good. But then I had to go find out, who were they speaking to? And by who? The time, the place, the setting. Like, Who was this message for when they gave it? We know it's still for us Christians today, but what was really happening? All right, so let's get a little bit of deep dive into Timothy. So Timothy was a early leader in the Christian church. He was serving as a pastor in the church of Ephesus, among many other locations. And his mother was a Jewish believer, but his father was Greek. And so Timothy becomes important because he becomes an apostle of Paul. Peter kind of has like a similar background. Peter is one of the 12 apostles, as we know, and he lived in today, which we consider modern day Israel, Palestine, but he lived obviously back then during the Roman Empire. So this is important to know because here we have two groups of people living in a region with different influences and different things going on. We have the Jewish people that are there with their Jewish teachings that emphasize modesty and inner qualities of a person over like outwards experience. But then we also have the Roman Empire and the Roman influence, who they believe if you're gonna do it big. If you're gonna do it nice. They love the fashion. They love the luxury. They love it all. They love everything. And so they're the ones that are really at this time known for doing the big braids, the big updos, the multiple necklaces, layering, all of that. That whole modesty, simple thing, they don't want to hear it. If you're somebody who's important, if you're somebody with a name, they will know it by the way you walk into the room. And so women at this time, right, their roles were obviously domesticated and related to family duties, but their worth was also tied to their social status. So how up there on the ranks are they? Women, a little bit more than men, believed in the beauty and the adornment. So you would find the woman doing this big elaborate hairstyles and wearing all the jewelry and the clothes and the extraness, as we still do today. I myself am still guilty. So when these two people, Peter and Timothy, come out and say this is the context that they live in. They're basically saying, when you understand what's happening, that like that's what the Romans do. We're called to be set apart. We're called to be different. Like at this point, the church of Christ, the body of Christ, is kind of coming up and it's kind of being built. So in essence, overall, they're trying to say we need to set ourselves apart. We need to be a bit different, and we're going to do this through this concept of modesty. But modesty, when we talk about it, we usually only talk about it in the sense of what somebody wears, and they're basically trying to say that's not the point. Y'all missed the point. We missed the point. The assignment was not turned in, okay? Modesty has to do with inside. Your behavior, your speech, your character. It has to do with humility. It has to do with integrity. So if you don't have these things, you can't even join in on the conversation of clothing, because obviously you're going to feel like you need to you need to show up more, over enunciate, overdo everything you do physically, if inside you're missing that validation, right? It makes sense. If I don't feel like I'm a person of value, I'm gonna look for values in ways that are easily accessible. If I just gotta put this necklace on, 5 or 10 necklaces on, to become a person of value in society, over doing the work and changing character traits and habits and things that I do that are not godly, I would rather just smack the necklaces on, right? It's easier to dress up and pretend to be somebody of value than to actually do the work to become somebody of value. And so that's what these men, Timothy and Peter, are warning against. And even Paul speaks about this at some point. The way for both men and women, I can't speak for man, genuinely, I'm not a man, but I would say for women, like, our value doesn't come from what we wear. You could go outside in a muumuu. You could go outside in a bucket hat, hair not done, all of that. Or you can go outside in a big prom dress, an elaborate all-pearl thing. The essence of your character is going to show through. We've seen this with many people that we put on platforms. Every single time we put these people on platforms and they come up and we raise them high and they look great. The makeup, snatched. The hair, always done to the gods, whatever gods they think they're doing it to, right? the clothes, always snatched body, right? Okay, and then they open their mouth, or they do what we put them up there to do, and we're like, where's the talent? Where's the morals? Where's the person? Where's the humanness in that person? It's not there. Because you know what? It was easy to snatch the body. It was easy to do the hair. It was easy to put on the dress. It's not easy to become a better person. And that's where modesty lies, in becoming a better person. But as we're doing these works of becoming a better person, we're called to, tone it down a bit. Live a lifestyle that isn't screaming to others, you're poor. Like, you know what I mean? In this Christian walk, we're called to not consider ourselves. And there are many things that you could do for yourself that wouldn't be harmful to you, but might be harmful to somebody else. And so when you start living like this, and you start considering, there are people who don't have access to education, who don't live in a safe place, who can't do all the things that you can do, you start realizing that, okay, maybe it's not necessary to put on 5 gold necklaces. Maybe it's not necessary to go spend $1,000 on my hair when I could give $500 to a charity instead. And you know what I mean? We start thinking about other people. We start thinking about what benefits other people. And I feel like it becomes a byproduct. The way you dress, the way you look becomes a byproduct of the way your heart is. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to articulate my thoughts properly, but I don't know if it's reaching you guys. A thought that I just had is culture will encourage us women to get naked, online. Our nakedness is our beauty. Culture will encourage us to do that, right? But all the women of influence that I personally look up to, follow, who have a role more than just a BBL look, none of them ever show up to the important spaces naked. When it's time to show up in front of people of influence, they always put that clothing on, and they still look good. If it's a matter of looking good, if it's a matter of fashion sense, we can still look good. We can still look beautiful. You know what I mean? Without having to be naked. So, back to the root question. Can Christians be sexy? So, that word, can a Christian be a baddie? The word sexy within itself is based on Google, right? Where did I go? I think I went to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It's to be sexually suggestive or stimulating, and it says erotic. I'm reading this straight out of the Webster dictionary. Another definition that it gives is generally attractive or interesting, appealing. And so let's go to the first definition first, and then we'll look at the second definition. There is no reason why. I feel like our culture has become wrapped up in sex and eroticism and all of that. There's no reason for us to just be dressing up to go out and we want to be erotic. Why are we getting dressed with the intention to be erotic? Why can't we just be dressed? Why can't we just go to the supermarket? Why do we have to be naked? I feel like we don't have to be. And we forget that in this world of BBL snatch ways, in this world of over enunciating and over sharing private parts and things that should really just be left to us, right? We've kind of put a little bit too much emphasis on how especially women show up in these spaces. It goes for men too. Some of the men, you dress up in a way to provoke somebody erotically, and it's not necessary, okay? We can have a conversation minus that. You can look good minus that. I feel like that part should really be between you and somebody special. It should really be for you and somebody special. Now that you have shown the world, now that the world has seen it, it's oh, okay. We've gotten so used to seeing nakedness that it doesn't alarm us anymore. And I feel like that's kind of a problem. Because as much as we want to like dumb it and water it down to like, oh, it's basically like a knee. Girl, no, it is the crevice of your bikini bottom. We don't need to see that. We don't need to see the crevice of the bikini bottom. You know what I mean? And if you're one of those girls that wear the crevice of the bikini bottom as part of your everyday outfit, and you're not convicted and you feel great, good for you. But for me, it starts to feel weird when I'm outside and you could feel wind up in some places that you're like, wait, you know what I mean? Like, what is going on? So, and there's a beauty to a woman, there's a light, there's a shine to a woman, to a man who doesn't expose everything. We still look good. We could still eat it up. You know what I mean? And that's not to say if you go to the beach, you got to be in a hoodie and a sweater and elbows and shoulders can. If you're at the beach, you're at the pool, okay, whatever. Dress to the context of the place that you're at. Cool. But you're going out and then, like, y'all have seen it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. We don't need to get into details. Now, can a Christian be that? I feel like it's not necessary because your value doesn't come from that. Even if you say, like, this is how I feel like I need to express myself. Well, we're no longer expressing us. We're expressing Christ. So, it's really a catch-22. Will Christ be posted up in the bikini bottom to go to the supermarket? I don't know. You tell me. For the second aspect of the definition, generally attractive or interesting, appealing. Yes, a Christian could be attractive, appealing. We could be interesting. Yeah. We could be all of that. A Christian could be attractive, interesting, all of that. You're looking at her right now. I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, Christians, you don't gotta be rags to be a Christian. You can dress up nice, but you also don't have to be naked. You know? I feel like there's a fine line. Just look it up. Go on Pinterest. You'll see it. It's given. I promise it's given. It's given over here. Quickly, I wanted to run through the story of Ruth in the Bible. We know she meets Boaz. And one thing about the story of Ruth is, like, when she catches Boaz's eyes because of the way she was acting, right? And they say that the other women in the fields would ride up their, like, skirts really, really high. Ladies, you know, really, really high. And when they would bend over at the waist to pick something up. And so the bikini bottom was bikini bottoming. Boaz was seeing too many bikini bottoms. Bottoms were up. And then he sees Ruth, this one woman who bends at the knee to pick something up instead. And he's like, ooh, she's different. And then he sees that when she does pick something up, when she's picking up after the people on the floor, she's not picking up everything she can gather. No, she's picking up 2, even though there's 3. She's leaving some on the floor intentionally. And these are like produce. Like, she's leaving things on the floor intentionally because she's considering in her mind that somebody else is behind her who's waiting to pick up. While these women will make sure they're grabbing, they're strong arming everything they can find on the floor because they're coming from a mindset of scarcity. She's coming from a mindset of, I'm gonna find something regardless, and then I'm gonna leave something for people behind me so that they can find something too. So it was a character trait. It was a way of living. Ruth wasn't doing the most so that she can catch a man, and a man still caught her. Bam, that's the word for the day. Ruth wasn't doing the most to catch a man, and a man still caught her. Ladies, we don't have to be naked. We don't have to do it that way. If it's for validation, if it's for worldly attention, I promise you, baby, you don't need it. Because first they wanted us to be skinny, a thin little thing, flat as a board, light as a feather, I think they say. And then they said they wanted us to have wide hips, flat tummy, big breasts. And now I'm seeing all the BBL legends removing the BBLs. We're moving too quick. I can't just be inhaling and exhaling food as if, you know. So if you keep trying to switch to the world, to every single thing the world wants you to be in order to receive its validation, you'll be tired. You'll be broke. Literally. you'll be down on the floor, because you will never receive its validation. It's always changing. We're always progressing. We're always moving forward. You can never catch up. But when you realize that your validation was never found in those things, Christ tells you that you are valuable. You are gold. You are pearls. A man can have all the gold and all the pearls in the world. If you don't have a valuable woman, he has nothing. You have to know that your worth does not come from what you put on, the way you look, the way you dress, the way your hair is done. You within yourself, you're the prize. You're the value. And so whatever you do put on after that doesn't make a difference in terms of adding to your value. But I do think being naked all the time, everywhere, can take away from your value. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. If you don't like it, don't take it. Don't receive it. I do think that being naked everywhere can take away. Because it's like you had to take off all your clothes to be something. And Cinderella, she was fully dressed in a ball gown. She barely even took off a slipper. And here we are, women, getting completely naked on the gram, on the Snapchat, on the Twitter, on the everywhere. For what? We're still being cheated on. We're still being left. We're still being lied to. So was it worth it? You know what I mean? I don't feel like it was worth it. Not attacking anyone, not, Can Christians be sexy? I encourage you guys to drop a like, drop a subscription, and let's change the style up a bit. You know what I mean? Let's change the style up a bit. Now, in terms of modesty, like I said earlier, modesty is not just about the way you dress. It's about who you are in your heart, how you are as a person, humility, integrity, considering and thinking of other people. And then how you dress is just like, not too much now on the biddies, not too much now on the bikini bottoms, not too much. And then I feel like just like search it up. I did a little bit of research, and depending on where you go, like to some people right now, what I'm wearing is not modest because my armpits are at risk of showing, my shoulders are at risk of showing, and to some it's perfectly fine because nothing private is showing. It's a personal thing. It's a personal conviction. Pray, take it back to God, and he will convict you. Personally, I've come a long way. I used to be a crop top girly, and then all of a sudden I just felt like it just wasn't given for me. I didn't feel comfortable anymore in it. I didn't feel comfortable with the short shorts. I didn't feel comfortable dressed like that. So I switched. So take it back to God. Let him personally convict you. Let him personally enlighten you, open your eyes, and he will tell you which way to go. You don't gotta listen to nobody else but God. So do that. Like I always say, use this comment section as a table and bring to this table whatever you feel is valuable to add to the conversation. Someone may not get anything from what I am saying, but they might get something from what you add in the comment section. So I'm waiting to see what you guys have to say. And I'll see you guys soon. Stay beautiful, stay healthy, stay safe. Bye.